Hey everyone, we're going to be starting in just a few minutes. Get ready for day number 2.
Hey Siri.
Recording in progress.
Hey everyone. Welcome. So excited to see you all today. Day number 2. So great to be here, and the group continues to grow. So great. This is like what I like. This, you're lighting me up right now. I am in beautiful Sedona. Yesterday I was in Boulder. This is the lifestyle of the Financial Freedom CEO. So here's the thing. I want to ask you, this is day 2 of the Scale Your Sales Mastery Series. And how good, everybody, was yesterday? How good was, we've heard such great comments. VIP, the Q&A coaching call yesterday. Thank you, everyone who just jumped right in. And don't forget, you can still upgrade to that 5-star VIP experience. You get additional coaching and implementation every day after these sessions. So it's not just, taking in the information. It's like, how do you actually implement it? And that's what we do in these sessions. So people yesterday were able to get on the call and actually discuss what is happening in their business. We kind of role played through some of these lead conversations, how to get the leads generally. Everyone, I'm just going to throw it out there. My rate for one-on-one is anywhere from $2,500, $5,000 or more. And this is your opportunity for $47 to get in the room. So if you are thinking, if you're on the edge, if you're like, what did they do yesterday? And I always give extra stuff, right? There's always more, there's more. Put a VIP in the chat, and my team will make sure that you have immediate access, and it's right after this call, okay? So don't miss out. So we're gonna be diving in right after again, and we go for, however long. Let's just do it. Let's make it happen for you. Okay, are you ready? Are you ready to scale your sales? Here's the key. As an entrepreneur, you need, again, the right people, the right message, the right energy, and the right invitation to your offer. So yesterday was all about the right people, but you learned about things that maybe were those aha pearls, right? You learned about the 4 categories of people in the market, and that there are only 2 categories that you need to be focusing on. Only 2 to convert leads, accelerate sales, and amplify your income. And those, I know you guys know it, are the expense people, the investment people. So I'm going to ask you to be honest with yourself. Did you notice a blind spot of how you're operating in the categories? So are you now going to be focusing on the 3rd and the 4th for yourself? Because that's what we usually find. Second day, you kind of wake up and you're like, I need to do this. So you looked at the places your qualified, ready-to-buy leads are interacting with you, your opt-ins, your social media engagers, and previous buyers of your product or others. And 68% of you at the end of yesterday said that the best part was the 3 biggest questions to actually ask those leads to help you identify. Are they a category 3 or a category 4? Are they a decision maker? Have they invested before with you or elsewhere? Do they have a want and a need for your offer? And you gathered how many names? Maybe 10 plus, more names of potentially high quality, ready to buy leads that you already have. You've already, they're there. They're just waiting for you. So put in the chat a 1 if you gathered 1 to 10 leads yesterday. Put a 2 if you're like 20 to 50. Put a 3 if you have 50 that you're like, oh my gosh, new way of thinking here. Carol, a 1. All right, Becky, perfect. Get started. Use my team. Get caught up. Awesome. Love this. Claire, yes, we're gonna do this, girl. I love it. So again, the more you interact with me on chat, the more I know what is working, what we need to keep going back to, where you are. Because today, we're going to be using the 3HQ framework, your headquarters for your head, your heart, your highest self. And you're going to be able to gain the competitive edge on actually being heard and then listened to in the market by establishing this strong connection to your category 3 and 4 leads so that you can actually win their hearts and their minds, okay? And it's through a powerful secret to influential messaging, influential. And at the beginning of next week, I gotta keep saying this, we're gonna talk about how to make the right invitation so that you can convert those leads and then accelerate the sales process. And that's how you actually amplify your income. And all of this has to take place in the second half of 2023, because that's what we're going for. That's what we're going for. Fall is going to be on us in an instant. We've got to be thinking about closing more revenue for you in the second half. So before we dive in, I want to hear about some major breakthroughs, those pearls, because a pearl is the greatest illustration of a beautiful breakthrough. It really is. Notice I got my pearls on today. And I briefly shared this yesterday about the pearl, but as Zig Ziglar, and he is a very famous marketeer, he said, repetition is the mother of learning. You hear this all the time when I'm in our Fired Up entrepreneur coaching, because sometimes it takes 2, 3, 5 to all of a sudden have that light bulb moment. He said, repetition is the mother of learning, the father of action, which makes it the architect of accomplishment. So how are pearls made? Through discomfort. We all have it, discomfort. When a tiny grain of sand works its way into the deepest part of an oyster, between its shell and this mantle, the oyster works to manage that irritant, to protect itself, covering that painful grain of sand with layers and layers of mother of pearl. And over time, the growth and resiliency forms that beautiful pearl, right? Let's get uncomfortable and step out of our comfort zone today. Put a yes in the chat if you right now are willing to get a little uncomfortable. If you're willing to open your mind to hearing something a little differently, put a yes. Okay? I want to see yes, 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 yes. All right? Who's got it? Who's in here? And I love you guys. This is fire. It is. Claire, yes. Yes. Joan Marie, yes. Love that. Carol. I know Ray Korn, yes. Vanessa, Rosella. Okay, I got it. We're here. And I want to hear from some of you financial freedom CEOs. We covered a lot yesterday, but in the VIP session, would anyone like to share any of their major pearls? Because it could be after just having time to contemplate. Please go ahead. Let's open it up. Can we open it up to who wants to share? Just like, again, the more you like put it out there, hey, this is what's happening to me. This is what's resonating for me. This was a pearl like I haven't had, a breakthrough. Let me see. Okay, I can't really see. This is so weird. All right. I'm going to start calling on people. People get a little nervous about that. Hey, Amber, you want to call somebody? And I can't hear you. Terry! All right.
Carol, I see you're on. Do you want to unmute and share one of your pearls from yesterday? Yeah, do it.
So I was looking for my notes. I was frantically looking for my notes.
Hey, Carol.
So I'm gonna wing it. So I guess for me, the biggest pearl is identifying and as a business owner, my identity, my avatar, who I am, and how I'm going to present that out into the ethers.
And so when you think about that and you think about the 4 categories, right? And you've got you've got this sample, or you've got coupon sample, you've got expense, you've got, the different layers of this. Which one, your investment, which one are you starting? Because again, identity, who you want to call in, that special lead, and we're going to go into a lot more detail, but who are you showing up as? Which one?
So I'm showing up more right now, currently.
Yeah.
As I identified yesterday, as the expense person. So I'm going to elevate to become more of an investor. And that's yeah. And I had an opportunity yesterday to do just that.
Perfect.
So,
and that's the thing, everyone.
It's the step, right?
It's the step. Carol, thank you. Can everyone give her a little fire there? Because this is all of us. We all of a sudden have an awakening where you wake up and you're like, oh gosh, am I really putting out there what I want my leads to be bringing back to me? Like, am I? Or am I being a sample person? Am I being a coupon person? What are you being, honestly, right? Why do they say, you have to get a coach? Because we can't identify our own blind spots. Really tough, right? Really, really tough. Okay, awesome. Thank you for playing with us today. And everyone, again, if you've got something that comes up for you, just be ready. Be ready, because when you put it out there, you're saying, I am ready for this. I am willing to accept what's coming to me now. It's so terrific, okay? So again, you got incredible pearls that are coming to you. Track them, write them down. You got a workbook. But are you ready to talk about how to take the know, like, and trust factor? We all know that, right? We all have heard it a gazillion times, but we want to take it to the next level and to convert your sale conversations into dollars. Okay, so put a yes in the chat if you're done with the superficial trends, right? There's all the flash in the pans, do this, do that, but you want to get right to the heart. What actually works? What is foundational in sales that will actually not feel slimy, right? And we talked about this in VIP yesterday, that slimy feeling of getting up and trying to sell something. No, can't do it. It is now going to be ingrained. So today is all about refining your message so that you can actually establish the connection with those ready to buy leads and accurately convey your why, your value of what you offer to increase, get this, we're trying to increase their desire to buy from you. Desire. I took Latin for 7 years. It was my stepfather who insisted I did it. The root of the Latin word for desire actually means to want. Remember yesterday that your category 3 and 4 people, the ready to buy leads, need to have a want and a need for what you offer. So the connection is actually defined as a relationship where the person is linked or associated with something else. Linked or associated. You want your leads to associate the value to your offer. And then that creates the desire you want through your relationship with them, right? That's where all of this starts to make sense. So the world-renowned advertiser, William Birnbach, he says you can say the right thing about a product and nobody will listen. You have to say it in such a way that people will feel it in their gut. Because if they don't feel it, nothing will happen. And we know, everyone listening right now, we know that people buy first emotionally, that heart, and then they justify it with the logic, their head. All right, so I like to say, if you want to convert, you have to connect, right? If you want to convert, you have to connect. What do you have to do right now? Right now, if you want to convert, put it in the chat. What do you need to do? What do you need to do? If you want to convert, yeah, exactly. Connect. So what do people have to do to buy your service? Ask yourself this, or your product. They have to feel it. And how do you do this? By establishing connection through 3 critical components. And guess what? We are covering those today. But a quick question. How many of you know that a story actually adds value to whatever it is that you're selling? Okay? Y'all know that, right? Or at least now you're starting to think about it. It actually adds value. But I want to actually give you an example. In 2009, a journalist named Rob Walker. I want to make sure that my screen just blipped. So I'm going to go right here until I can figure that out. Okay, in 2009, a journalist named Rob Walker actually conducted an experiment, and he wanted to test the theory about whether or not a story actually adds any value. So he purchased 100 items, purchased them on eBay. They were around 99 cents. Ordinary items, trinkets, marbles, thermometer, little things, okay? And he created 100 fictional stories to go with each of them. He purchased, again, 100 items on eBay for about $1 each. And then he writes a fictional story about each item and he reports them on eBay. What happens? Within 5 months, every single item was sold. He bought 100 items. Total cost was around $129. And he resold them for a total of $3,612. That is a 2,800% increase. So again, someone else posted the items on eBay and they were valued at that $129. But Robert added a story and reposted the exact same item, and then they were valued at $3,612. What's the difference? Not the product, we know that. It's the story. So people are willing to pay more money for something if it comes with a story. How many of you would like to have a 2,800% increase on your return? Put a money sign in the chat. Put it right now if you want to see an increase in your return. Right now. I want to see them. Good. Yes, because that's why we are in business. That's why we're doing this. Okay. Our brands need stories. Brand stories communicate values, and they establish this connection. Financial freedom CEOs need stories. We need stories to get teams to rally behind us. Sales individuals need stories to get their audiences to buy. Customer support roles need stories. Have you thought about that? To communicate a positive client experience. Your business needs stories. Where today could you add a story? Today. Could it be in your content marketing, your email marketing, sales conversations, establishing joint ventures, partnerships, print ads, paid ads? Put in the chat where today, right now, where today, when we get off this, can you infuse a story? What part of your business? What part? I want to see them. I want to see these. Email, yes, Terry. Linda, yes. About me, ooh. Item content, LinkedIn. Claire, yes. Yes. Oh, absolutely. Tanaka, yes. Jenny, Reels, yes. And Tanaka, I'm going to go back to email, yes. Social media, everyone, add a story. Get your stories down, write them down. I have an actual place on my phone. I put, something happens to me, I'm like, there's another story. I write it down. I just document it, I get back to it, I put more information. You got to be doing this, okay? All right, so as we are now looking at how important this is, there are 3 major types of stories that outline entrepreneurs and how they outline it for entrepreneurs, so how they can actually utilize these to scale their business. And the 3 are origin story, experimental story, metaphorical story. Okay, go ahead, pull out those workbooks. You have them, and if not, let's put a link in. Workbook, this is day 2, and we're gonna fill in the blank, okay? 3 types of stories millionaires use all the time. Origin stories, experimental stories, and metaphorical, okay? So let's take a look at just a few quick examples of how some online brands are actually utilizing these types of stories in their emails, okay? They're using them in emails, social media, web copy. And this is the part that you as the CEO have to step into. This is what cannot, and I'm like gonna scream this on the mountaintops here, cannot be generated in AI. Okay? So I just want a round of applause for your stories, because that's what's gonna stand out for your leads. So most business coaches are gonna tell you that powerful origin stories include 3 major elements. You probably know this: a problem, a solution, and the payoff. So we've all heard this, right? Okay, but here's what they aren't telling you. If you stop at the problem, solution, and the payoff, you're missing the very 3 elements that you must have to establish influential messaging. Influential messaging, okay? So I'm going to tell you the exact 3 in a moment, because I want you to see this experience. I want you to pinpoint it yourself. So I'm going to give you a few examples, okay? So follow along with me. All right, so let's take a look at this example. And this is our brand origin story in our website. I'm going to give you some ours, and I'm going to give you others. Okay, this is our about page. Let's talk about the problem that I speak to. If we look at here, it's, when you look closely, 60-hour work weeks, sleeping actually over at the office, not feeling like I have any energy, not seeing my family, I'm exhausted. Okay? Then we go into the solution. What is the solution to this crazy behavior? It's entrepreneurship, work on my own terms, put my life back into alignment. It was the creation of the 3HQ framework. So how about the payoff? I've worked with thousands of entrepreneurs, realigning their lives and their businesses, igniting, inspiring, impacting, right? Values, like, what am I going here? Why am I doing this? All while hiking the trails, spending time with family. I'm a business owner that actually gets to do what I love with the people I love. and I get to see my impact in others' successes. How cool is that, right? So now what am I teeing up? Excellent. So let's look at an example of using an experimental story, all right? An experimental story in your social media posts. So, does this person right here, do you recognize her? You guys, come on over to the Relaunch Co. and you can see a lot of this. So, this is an example that we use to actually establish connection through one of my personal experiences, all right? And I think that it was able to be used, like people resonated with it in their lives. Take a notice of how I'm still positioning the problem I wanted, and that was I wanted to find a husband. The solution, I was going to go deep into my arsenal for manifesting the specific things that I wanted this man to embody. I already been through a divorce. And the payoff, I got married to the exact man I focused on manifesting. So incredible, right? And we got so many like people saying, oh yeah, resonate, oh. But let's take a look at this one final example of a type of story. And this is an example of an email where we used metaphors in a story in my email, okay? And you might have even gotten it. Okay, and you all have seen me in a lot of what I put out there. I talk about rockets, planets, butterflies, charging stations, tons of car examples. The Relaunch Co. is not, we love metaphors. If you go back and you re-listen to this, you probably have heard already 5, maybe even more, okay? But here's a recent example. This one is shake up your routine. Okay, so consider your daily routine as a canvas. Are you painting it with the same brush strokes every day? Break the monotony. Just like a splash of unexpected color can transform a painting, a little variety can do wonders for your productivity. Think about in your business. What would be a metaphor that you could be using today, right now? Put in the chat. I want to see other people's metaphors. What could you be using? What could you be using? Your body is a music instrument. Jenny, yes, you are getting it. What are some others? What are some other ones? A garden. Jess, yes. Christalore, yes. Body is a vehicle. Butterfly, me here, coming back home. I want you to be literally thinking about all of these. Your outfits, Sophia, yes. Literally. How are you going to create these for yourself? These are awesome. Okay, so now, these are actually the examples of the 3 different types of stories in 3 different places, right? We've seen it. I gave you the example of the website, social media, email, all utilizing the problem, solution, payoff. And there's no denying. It works, right? It works. But without even realizing it, the reason that this formula works is because all 3 of these stories are actually leveraging the 3 secret elements to establishing influence and persuasion. Influence and persuasion, because of the elements of influence and persuasion that you'll actually be able to establish authentic connection, increase your audience desire to buy. That's how they come together. So some of you may be familiar with TED Talk. Anyone in here? There might even be some. Put a yes if you've done a TED Talk. So TED Talks know the 3 critical elements to influence and persuasion, and they recognize the actual value of a story. The approval board only looks for 3 things when vetting their speakers. In fact, a board member, this is a quote, ooh, I just hit that. Board member said this: "We all love a good story because good stories are drawn from the heart." Drawn from the heart. Drawn from the heart. I think, Vicki, was that a yes to TED Talk? If it is, awesome, girl. This is how they're vetting some of the most incredible speakers, all right? This is how they're doing it. And the secret is that there are actually 3 elements to winning influence and persuasion in your messaging, and they come not from someone in the last 5 to 10 years. They come from the Greek philosophy. The Greek philosophy that okay, by the way, I keep forgetting to do this. Get your action work doc out there, and there are 3 elements to winning influence and persuasion in your messaging. And again, they come from Greek philosophy. Aristotle is said to be one of the best persuasive public speakers there ever was. And we're talking thousands of years. And Aristotle said there are 3 elements, the must-have in your message to be persuasive and influential. So let me go back to the judge at the TEDx and what she said after she said, we all love a good story because good stories are drawn from the heart. She said a good story is the sort that can be woven into ethos, pathos, logos themselves. A narrative that establishes authority, captures the imagination, and illuminates your logic. Illuminates your logic. The first is ethos. Ethos, it's your credibility. In the 3HQ, your headquarters, this relates to your highest self, right? That when you're operating at your best, it incorporates your ethics, authenticity, your values, and ultimately your character. Okay, so get back to your workbook, and we call it the action work. And I want you to put in the first element is ethos. And just right next to it, your ethics, your values, and your character. The second is pathos. Pathos, your conviction, your feelings, your emotional connection to your audience, creating that pathos, the path between you and your clients. And in your 3HQ, your pathos, take a little guess of where that would be, your heart. And remember, people buy based on emotion first, so this becomes super important. And the second section in your action work is right in pathos. Pathos, all right? Pathos, so good. And then the third is logos. Logos, logic, a point, a lesson. And 3HQ, it's your head, your head. That last blank on your action work doc is logos, logic, a point, a lesson. And when you can actually incorporate all 3 of these together, that's when you hit the elements for influence and persuasion. When you're talking about your ideas or your offers, and you're going to have, like when you're doing this, you're going to have such a strong connection to your audience, which means more connection, more engagement, loyal brand followers, ultimately more sales. So scientific data actually shows that when we incorporate ethos, pathos, logos, which mirrors your head, heart, and highest self in the 3HQ, we establish relaxation, connection, and get this bonding with our audience. So I have now taught thousands of clients how to do this when they talk about and pitch their offers. We're going to cover all of this. This is Tuesday. Do not miss Tuesday, okay? Because this is where I go deeper into that because it's so important. So what's the goal of incorporating these 3 secret elements to your influential message? Authentic connection. That's what we're going for. Why? Because only then When they feel like they know logos, like, pathos, and trust you, ethos, will they be inspired to work with you? And then that's how you're going to be able to create change. This is when 3HQ starts to just like, poof, so huge for you. So tell me in the chat, what are the 3 elements? What are the 3 elements that you must have in order to win the hearts and minds of your audience through influence? What are they? What are they? Ethos, pathos, logos. Yes, 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 yes. Good job. Great, Gordon. Yes. Guys, this is what, like, all day today, I just want you to be repeating these, okay? Learn them, know them, be them. And in relaunch terminology, again, ethos, pathos, logos, the head, the heart, the highest self, all ties together. Nothing is by chance. And what is an easy way to establish all 3? The use of a story in your emails, in your post, in your presentations. So these are the final blanks, day 2. In your workbook, the best place to leverage stories to your category 3 and 4, those leads, is in your email, social media, presentations. There is a retired NFL player. His name is Bo Easton, and I love this quote. He says, story is connective tissue in a world that doesn't trust. Great metaphor. When our language, I should say, was first evolving.
Recording stopped.
Oops, we're recording stopped.
Recording in progress.
Okay. When our language was evolving over 100,000 years ago, before that it was on cave walls, pictures, people passed down stories to allow for knowledge, right? Before anything else. This is what matters. This is what's going to impact people. The best closers from stage use stories. The best converters from digital events use stories. Presidential speech, writers, everybody, coaches are using stories. But we got to make sure the stories have the necessary items in them. It doesn't matter what your industry is. If you want to have more sales in a way that doesn't feel salesy, your key is to use stories. Stories that have ethos, pathos, and logos to inspire your audience to take action. So who wants to sell their offer? Sell it out. Who wants to sell it out to such a degree that they're like, holy, financial freedom CEOs. They're the ones that focus on it. They're the ones that embrace this. They learn it. They execute against it. So if you're an FFC, put FFC in the chat right now. FFC. You don't just hear this stuff. You do it. You take action. So let's review some positive and effective examples of brands that have actually used. I'm a big storyteller to actually make a relevant point around stories. So these are going to give you ethos, pathos, logos. And I'm hoping that you're going to be able to see all this. So watch this video for exactly what we're talking about.
P&G, proud sponsor of moms.
Oh, I'm like, you know what? No matter what happens, I always get the chills from that. Okay, so was anyone able to pick up on those ethos, the highest self, that credibility, authority? Tell me in the chat. Yeah, Michelle, totally gives me goosebumps. I love it. Yeah. Was anyone like, what do you think it was? In fact, do you, hold on, where'd it go? You guys are coming in. I love it. Okay, so Michelle, can you pop open for a second? Michelle Palmer, if you're comfortable. You okay with it? You're like, no. Is it working? Okay, I just want to know, was anyone able to pick up? What did you find? Put it in, like, put in, what do you think was really allowing for credibility and authority? So I want to know, I want to let you know, the mothers that were shown were consistent. They were giving, encouraging, and empowering messages, right? And that authority and character were established, though, in the midst of the anxiety, uncertainty, stress. We can all relate, right? So what were some examples of pathos, that evoking the emotion, incorporating the heart? What else was there? It was, everyone can relate to times of uncertainty, self-doubt. How about preparing for launches, right? These are things any of us have felt. And at any point in time, we can likely recall experience like this. You immediately probably went to, like, what was your childhood like, right? Reaching out to our moms for support, encouragement. So how about the logos, the lesson? Did anyone catch the lesson? Very end, it was so right out there. Take someone strong to make someone strong. So this is the exact formula that you can and should use in your messaging, in your social media, email, live events, anything to establish that deep emotional connection. This is how you influence. This is how you persuade in a really authentic way. So I want to know, 1 to 5, chat right now. 5, if this is like, I get it. Let me know. Yeah, Monique, Carol, Michelle, yeah, Joan. This is so, so, so critical. So, question for each of you. After watching that, did you, as the actual audience, feel emotionally connected to P&G, right? At the end, you're like, huh. It successfully incorporated pathos, ethos, logos. And now you're like, huh, right? The head, the heart, the highest self. So it established the emotional connection. All right, so good. We are inspiring this in you so that you can then take it and establish deep and deeper connections with your clients. All right, so I want to go over a brief example, but I've done the video now. I wanted to give you one in an actual word, whether it was email, whether it's story, it's a story. And I recently heard Scott Harrison and I'm not sure, do any of you know Scott Harrison? He's actually the founder of the nonprofit organization called Charity Water. And he has successfully raised millions of dollars, and he demonstrates Aristotle's narrative beautifully. He is so influential. And in this interview, he was asked about how he motivated people to take part in his movement to bring clean drinking water to Africa. And he explained that he knew he needed to present his mission in a deeply personal way to inspire change So he actually shares his story and he says, I knew I needed to have a real idea of what was actually happening in Africa. And this was confirmed at the close of a meeting. And he had a meeting with a local villager. And he had just given me a picture of the village, the reality. And this villager told me that the women would actually tie ropes around large pots to retrieve water for their village. And they would walk 8 hours a day. And he told me specifically about a woman named Letuck Ennis. Okay, pause. Are you seeing what he's doing here? He's establishing ethos, his character, his highest self, right? He explained that Letuck was walking with her pots to get water, and on the way back to the village, she slipped. The pots broke, the water went all over the dry dirt, and then Scott asked, what happened? What happened to this villager? What did Letuck do? Did she go back and get more water? And the man from the village said no. What she did, she tied a rope around her neck, climbed up a tree, and jumped. This is an amazing example of pathos. The story was evoking emotions touching all of our hearts. And so Scott knew he had to actually physically go to the village. He needed to learn more. So he says, I get to the village and I meet the woman's mother and I see the grave and I go to the tree. And what's shocking is that I'm told that the woman was actually a 13-year-old girl. This is pathos again. Are you able to see what he's doing? He's continuing to evoke emotions through the heart. And Scott continues. He comes home from the trip, convicted. I mean, he is like, I'm going to take action. I'm going to get an idea around, like, how can I do this through birthdays? Donation mechanism. People spend so much money on things they don't really need. What if they take that money around birthdays, right? So he presented the idea to donate birthday money. He then presented it, and guess what happened? An 8-year-old girl, without missing a beat, she was just shy of her 9th birthday, Rachel. She says, I want to donate. I'm going to donate to my birthday, and she has a goal, $220 goal. She asked every single person she knew to donate $9. She ended up, actually her goal was $300 and she ended up taking in $220. She was disappointed. But what happened next is really impactful. Just days later, Scott got a call, a really sad call that told him that Rachel had actually been in a fatal car accident and that her family wanted to reopen the actual ability to get to that goal of 300. As you can imagine, the news of this little girl dying spread. Tons of money came in, right? Tons, up to $3 million. And Scott finished with a statement. He said, that's the power of a story. A 9-year-old girl said, it's not okay that other kids are drinking from a swamp and that I'm getting all of these gifts for my birthday. One person has the power to make a difference. This is so huge. This is such a great example of logos, the logic, the lesson, the head portion of 3HQ. The head portion. So, are you seeing how this is all tying together? He incorporated ethos, his credibility, his highest self, driving it to make the impact on this enormous issue. Pathos, he's had the emotions, the profound story of Letuck, Rachel, connecting to our hearts, the logos, the logic. One person can create massive impact. He aligned the 3 critical components of 3HQ: head, heart, higher self. So are you seeing how you can incorporate this into every aspect of your messaging to strengthen the connection? Strengthen it. You have a message, but you're the messenger. You can do this. You know, these are actually what I'm teaching you right now. I spend hours upon hours with my one-on-one clients. I go through this. This is so important. Clients pay me over $30,000 to structure all this. And I'm going to offer you an opportunity to work with me. Okay? I'm going to throw it out there right now. Monday or Tuesday, we're going to do this. But I do want you to know that because I believe so deeply in what I just shared with you, that charity water, that I actually have put into my own sales model a donation that I put back for everyone that joins, a donation to Charity Water. And that is the true beauty and power in a story and power in entrepreneurship. Our ability to ignite, inspire, impact others. So it's time to put in the work to scale your sales and actually sell your offers, sell more. So for tonight's action work, I want you to put all of this into practice. I want you to develop the influential story with the 3 elements of influence and persuasion: ethos, pathos, logos. Any form, I don't care what you're doing. Social, email, short video. But when you're done, I want you to put it into Facebook, because what we'll have is you're going to get individualized feedback from my team. And that is so valuable right now. What else can you put in there? What else can you do? You're going to get feedback from others in the group, which is so huge, right? Okay, so what's next? At this point, you've identified the right people by discovering the 4 categories of people in the market and recognizing that you should only be selling to the 2, the expense people, investment people. Today, you've learned about how to share the right message and the secret to winning the hearts and minds through influential messaging by incorporating what? Ethos, highest self, pathos, heart, logos, head. But tomorrow I'm going to give you the millionaire secret to overcome any objection by using 3 simple strategies. These strategies are the ones that I invested in programs, in others, in coaches. I can tell you it's well over $100,000. But one of the things I love to do is make it simple, make it easy to digest, and hold you accountable to getting it done. And that's what we're going to do tomorrow in our session. It starts at 9 o'clock again, Pacific Standard Time, 12 noon Eastern. And so these are the strategies. These are the strategies that the top 1% are actually using right now. We know it because we have them in our program, scaling their sales. And we know that they're actually working in the market as well. So I want to ask you, as we close today's session, I want to do a quick poll, because you know I love to gather what you guys are thinking. And here is day 2. Biggest pearl you got. What was the biggest takeaway? The value of the story with eBay. 3 types of stories for online entrepreneurs: the origin story, experimental story, influential story, ethos, pathos, logos. What was it? Okay. Give it another 10 seconds to come through. Excellent. So let me share these with all of you. And you can see, look at that. The 3 influential story elements: credibility, emotional connection, and logos. Pathos. Pathos, logos, ethos. We got to be like putting this in. All right? So now, as we end today, all right?
Hey, Hillary.
Yeah.
Real quick, we had some questions about going back to the last slide you had pulled up with the 3HQ. Can we pull that back up?
Is this it? Yeah.
Yes, I think people wanted to take photos of it.
Ooh,
Thank
good
you.
call, everyone. Good call. And then don't forget, right now, you have the opportunity to come into the VIP. This is where we're going to go through this even more, understanding from a business perspective, role playing into this. So if you haven't joined yet, put a VIP in the comments and we will get you right in there. All right, so I am going to sign off right now. Thank you. Thank you for being here today. Tomorrow, Saturday, I know, grab your coffee, put on your t-shirts. Let's do this. I think probably tomorrow is one of my favorite days. And I want to show up for you on a Saturday like you've never seen. But I am going to commit to you right now. You thought today was good? Maybe, I hope you did. Hopefully you thought it was great. Tomorrow, oh, fire, fire, fire. So anyway, enjoy your Friday. Hello weekend. And I will look forward to seeing you again tomorrow. VIPers, let's start at 5 past the hour. Mwah. Everyone, so good, so good. See you then.